The knock at 3:17 a.m. You ever wake up in the middle of the night and for a second, you're not sure if you really woke up? That's where this starts. I live alone, well, mostly alone, in a small town in Maine that's quiet enough to hear your own heartbeat after midnight. Nothing bad ever happens here. That's what we all say. It's the kind of place where folks still wave at passing cars and bake pies for the church raffle. You know, wholesome, predictable, safe. But that night, October 13th, it was cold enough to see your breath inside the house. The kind of cold that makes you think the walls are breathing. My clock said 3:17 a.m. I remember because the red digits looked like they were bleeding in the dark. I just rolled over, half asleep, when knock, knock, knock. 3 knocks. Slow, measured, too polite to be a dream. I lay there listening, heart ticking in my throat. The house groaned, settling like old bones in winter. I told myself it was nothing, maybe a branch, maybe the wind. But the sound came again, clearer this time. Not the door, closer. The thing about living alone is you start trusting your own explanations too much. You tell yourself you imagined it, that the noise isn't what you think. But deep down, something in the base of your spine starts to hum, like your instincts are whispering, "Don't get up." Still, I swung my legs out of bed. The floorboards bit cold into my feet. I didn't turn on the light, didn't want to break the dark. Another knock, same rhythm, 3 times. And that's when I realized it wasn't coming from the door. It was coming from the inside of the house. I stumbled backwards so fast I nearly dropped the flashlight. Its beam jittered across the walls, landing on the family photos in the hallway. My sister, my parents, all smiling like they still lived here, like nothing ever left. But I knew that voice. It wasn't just echoing me. It was me. The whisper that came through the glass wasn't an imitation. It was identical, down to the stutter I used to have when I was a kid. My skin prickled. The house suddenly felt smaller, tighter, as if it were folding in around me. "Max," I whispered, but the dog didn't move. His eyes were locked on the door. His hackle stood up, yet he made no sound. That silence, that terrible silence, felt wrong. The knocks came again, closer this time, but the silhouette hadn't moved an inch. It was like the sound was slipping through the walls, like it could move without moving. Something deep in me said, "Don't open it." But curiosity, that old stupid beast, pushed me forward. I reached out, fingers trembling, and touched the cold metal of the deadbolt. That's when the power went out. Total darkness swallowed the house. The clock's red digits vanished. The only sound was Max whining, low and broken. Then footsteps, upstairs, slow, deliberate. No one lived upstairs. My flashlight flickered back to life for half a second, catching something halfway up the staircase. Just a glimpse, bare feet pale as candle wax, retreating around the corner. I called out again, voice shaking. "Who's up there?" No answer. But then came the voice, my voice, from upstairs. "Go away." And the worst part, it sounded terrified, like whoever or whatever was saying it was warning me. I started backing toward the door, heart hammering like a trapped bird. But when I turned the handle, it wouldn't budge. The deadbolt was jammed solid. The air smelled wrong now, like wet earth, like something freshly dug up. Behind me, the floorboards creaked, one step, then another, and then, right next to my ear, knock, knock, knock. Inside the house, inside the walls. I spun around so fast the flashlight cracked against the wall. The beam danced through the room, slicing shadows into pieces, but every piece moved. I could swear it moved. The whisper was still in the air, hanging there like smoke. "You already did." My breath caught in my throat. I didn't remember letting anyone in. I didn't even remember unlocking the door. But then, God help me, I heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps coming down the stairs. Slow, bare, wet. Each step left a faint mark on the wood, darker than it should have been, like water or blood seeping up from underneath. "Who are you?" I shouted, though my voice cracked halfway through. "What do you want?" No answer, just the creak of another step. Then from the landing it appeared. It was me. Not a reflection, not a trick of the dark. Me. Standing there in my own threadbare t-shirt, the one I'd worn to bed, same scar on the chin, same trembling hands. Only, its eyes were wrong. Too wide, too hollow. And its mouth, God, its mouth was smiling. "You shouldn't have woken up," it said, my voice spilling from its throat like something borrowed. I stumbled backward, hitting the door again, fumbling for the latch that refused to turn. The house was alive now, The lights buzzing, the clock hands spinning faster, everything frozen at 3:17 and still moving. My double stepped closer, tilting its head in that same way the shadow had at the door. "You let me in when you heard me," it said, "when you answered." And suddenly, I remembered what my grandmother used to whisper when I was a kid, back when the nights felt too long. "Don't answer the knock unless you know who's calling." The thing that looked like me was just a breath away. Its skin was too pale, its outline flickering like a bad TV signal. "Time to trade places," it whispered. I had one choice left, fight or surrender, so I lunged, drove the flashlight forward, straight into its chest. The glass shattered, the light burst, and for one blinding instant I saw inside it. Saw nothing but cold, endless dark, like a hole in the world. And then everything went out. I sat there on the floor, the morning light crawling in slow and pale through the blinds, washing everything in that dull, merciless gray that makes nightmares look stupid, until you realize they aren't gone. The house felt emptied out, hollow. My breath echoed. Max's collar lay near the door, snapped clean through like something had yanked it hard. I called his name until my throat went raw. Nothing. The cops came in pairs, faces bored, voices flat. Probably a power surge. One said, glancing at the broken flashlight. The other scribbled on a pad, asked if I'd been drinking. I told them about the knocks, the voice, the other me on the stairs. Their eyes met for a fraction of a second, the kind of look that says we've got a live one here. But when they checked upstairs, everything was clean, dusty, undisturbed. No wet footprints, no sign of anything ever being there. Except, on the bedroom mirror, faint and fogged over, were 3 smudged marks, like fingertips dragged downward. I hadn't touched the glass, neither had they. The younger cop pointed, his voice small. "That wasn't here before, was it?" They left not long after. Promised a patrol would swing by tonight. I knew they wouldn't. When I finally sat down, I noticed the clocks again. Everyone, microwave, stove, wristwatch, frozen on 3:17. And when I tried to reset them, the buttons didn't respond. Like time itself refused to move forward inside this house. As the day wore on, things got worse. The reflection in the hallway mirror lagged a half second behind me. Shadows bent the wrong way when the light shifted. Every creak of the floor sounded like someone taking a step to match mine, just a beat late. By evening, I packed a bag. Told myself I'd get a hotel, sell the place, move somewhere warmer, somewhere brighter. But when I turned to leave, the door wouldn't open. The knob twisted, but it didn't give. The air inside had that same chill again. Then the hallway clock, dead all day, ticked once, 3:17. And somewhere deep inside the walls, something knocked. 3 times, slow, measured. It's been a month now. Different town, different house, different everything. I told myself distance would fix it, that whatever I'd let in back there couldn't follow me this far. But the truth? You can't outrun something that wears your face. I got rid of the mirrors first. Can't stand reflections anymore. They twitch when I don't, blink when I don't. I sleep with the lights on, TV humming static, just enough noise to drown out what silence might be hiding. People say trauma makes you see things. That grief does strange things to the brain. Maybe that's true, but then how do you explain the messages? Yesterday morning, I found condensation on my bathroom wall, 3 long drips running straight down, looked almost like fingers. And when I wiped it away, underneath, faint but clear, were words scratched into the paint. "You never left." A dry, broken sound. Told myself it was leftover damage, old paint warping in the humidity. I even started to believe it, right up until last night, because last night I woke up again, 3:17 a.m. No power outage, no wind, just that sound. Knock, knock, knock. But this time it wasn't the door, wasn't even the window. It came from inside the wall, right behind my bed. I pressed my hand to the plaster and felt it, cold, faintly pulsing like something breathing on the other side. And then a whisper, so soft, I almost convinced myself it was nothing. It said, "Let me out." So tell me, friend, if you heard a knock at 3:17 a.m., polite and patient, whispering in your own voice, would you open the door? Beat, let silence settle. If this story kept you looking over your shoulder tonight, do me a favor, hit that like button. It helps the channel grow and brings more eerie stories your way. Don't forget to subscribe for daily chills and mysteries just like this one. And hey, share this video with someone who swears they don't scare easy. Thanks for watching and listening. There's another story waiting for you right now. It should be on your screen. I'll see you back here tomorrow, unless you hear the knock first, the spare key. You ever notice how small towns have secrets they keep tucked behind white picket fences? Yeah, I used to think my town was different, quiet, safe, a place where you could leave your doors unlocked. That changed the night I found the spare key. I was just your average nobody, 34, single, renting the bottom half of a duplex in Castle Falls, Maine. I worked nights at the post office, spent weekends fixing up my old motorcycle. Nothing fancy. My biggest fear? Dying alone with a pizza box on my chest and no one noticing for days. Anyway, one night, my upstairs neighbor, Mrs. Delaney, this sweet old lady who smelled like lavender and mothballs, asked me to feed her cat while she was away. She said the spare key was under the flower pot. Only when I lifted the pot, there were two keys. One brass, one black. And the black one, it was warm. I remember thinking, that's odd. Keys don't get warm by themselves. I used the brass one, of course, fed the cat, checked the windows, everything normal. But the black key, I kept it, slipped it into my pocket like a fool pocketing a loaded secret. And that's how it started. The next morning, I swear I heard movement upstairs. Mrs. Delaney wasn't due back for 2 more days. I went up, called her name, checked the locks. Everything was fine. But as I turned to leave, I saw something wedged into the doorframe. A symbol carved into the wood, right next to the lock. A small spiral, shallow and perfect, like it had been burned in. That's when I realized the black key wasn't just spare, it was waiting. My mouth went dry. My knees almost buckled. I dropped the stack of photos and they fluttered across the floor like dead birds. Every single one of them, me. Always me. How could that be? I'd only lived there 9 months. I stumbled back, trying to make sense of it. Maybe Mrs. Delaney had a camera obsession. Maybe she'd been, watching me? But the older photos, those were impossible. I had longer hair. My old apartment's furniture was visible through the blinds. Stuff no one could have seen unless they'd been inside. Then I heard the click, a soft one, like a latch resetting. The basement door had closed. I rushed up the steps 2 at a time, slammed against it, locked. I turned the knob, shoved, pounded, nothing. Then, in the dim light, I saw something shift behind the trunk. A shadow, too tall to be Mrs. Delaney. My throat tightened. I grabbed a hammer from the workbench and backed toward the stairs, but the light bulb flickered once, twice, and went out completely. Darkness, the kind you can hear. Then a whisper, my name, right next to my ear. I swung the hammer at nothing and felt air slice past me like a breath. Then silence again, long, heavy, until the lock clicked open by itself. I bolted upstairs, heart slamming, and threw the basement key onto the counter. But when it hit the tile, it wasn't black anymore, it was silver. I didn't sleep that night, didn't even sit down. Every sound, pipes, floorboards, wind, felt like someone moving just out of sight. By dawn, I'd convinced myself I'd hallucinated it. Stress, fatigue. But when I went to leave for work, something was hanging from my doorknob. A Polaroid, fresh, the film still developing. It was me, standing in the basement, holding the hammer, eyes wide. And in the photo's corner, scratched in red ink, was a date, tomorrow's. I froze. The air felt thick like syrup. Her eyes were open, clouded, unblinking, but fixed on me like she'd been waiting. Then the whisper came again, curling out from the dark corners of the room. Turn it, unlock it. The black key on her chain swung slightly, though I hadn't moved. I wanted to run, scream, do something, but my body wasn't mine anymore. My hand lifted on its own, trembling toward that key. When my fingers brushed it, everything shifted. The room rippled, like heat over asphalt. For a split second, I saw flashes, other rooms, other versions of this same house. In one, Mrs. Delaney was alive, knitting by the window. In another, it was me in the chair, slack-jawed and gray. Each layer peeling back, a film reel of lives overlapping, spiraling inward towards something black and endless. And in every single one, the key was there. The voice pressed in again, right against my skull this time. You opened the door once, finish it. I clutched the key. It burned now, eating through my palm. The walls groaned, the boards beneath my feet flexing like ribs of something breathing beneath the house. Then I saw it, the basement door, only now it was pulsing, expanding, like a living thing trying to be born. Shadows leaked from the edges, faces, mine, Mrs. Delaney's, others, flickered within the dark, screaming without sound. I knew what it wanted. It wanted the key. If I gave it back, Maybe it would stop. Maybe it would let me go. But something deeper said no. This wasn't a door that closed once opened. I turned toward the front door. It was gone. Just wallpapered over like it had never existed. The house shuddered again, lights bursting, photographs peeling from the walls, thousands of them, faces of me stretching down the hallway. And from the basement came a hand, long, gray, jointed wrong. It reached for me, grasping, pulling. I screamed, wrenching the chain from around Mrs. Wade, Delaney's neck, and jamming the black key into the lock of that writhing door. The house exhaled, a roar. Then, white light. And I fell through walls, through time, through myself. Right before everything went black, I heard her voice again. Welcome home. They told me it was shock, that I'd imagined everything, the photos, the whispers, even the door. Trauma does strange things to the mind, they said. But I know what I saw, and I know what followed me. The first night in my new place, I woke to the faint jingle of metal. I thought it was a dream until I saw something gleaming on the nightstand. The key, the same one, black, heavy, too warm for the cold air around it. I threw it out the window, heard it hit the pavement, felt a pulse of relief. Next morning, it was back, lying on my kitchen counter beside a mug I hadn't used. After that, things got slippery. The lines between places started to blur. Sometimes when I turned a corner in my apartment, I'd catch a glimpse of the old wallpaper from Mrs. Delaney's house, or I'd hear the faint mewl of her cat, long gone now. Once, I saw her reflection in my bathroom mirror, just for a second, not looking at me, but through me, like I was the ghost, not her. I stopped sleeping, moved again. Different town, different coast, new locks, no basements. But you can't outrun what's attached to you. Everywhere I go, it finds me. The cops called me last month, said they'd found my name on a lease in Castle Falls. You still own a property there? They asked. I told them no. But when they sent a picture, there it was. My old duplex, my signature, fresh ink. And in the photo they emailed, taped to the front door, was a Polaroid. Me, standing in the doorway, holding the black key. I don't even remember posing for it. Now some nights, I feel the walls hum. The same slow rhythm I heard in that house, that awful heartbeat of something waiting just behind the wood. I've stopped touching the key. I keep it in a drawer I never open. But sometimes when I'm half asleep, I hear it turning. Softly, click, click. And in that sound, I know it's unlocking something. Something that never really closed. And maybe that's what it's all been leading to, my turn. I've spent months pretending life went back to normal. New job, new friends, even started smiling again. But it's a lie, a thin coat of paint over rot. Because every reflection I pass, every shadow that flickers where it shouldn't, feels like the house calling me back. I've started dreaming in spirals, black ones etched in smoke and bone. Each night I'm standing before the basement door again, the key in my hand. The whispers gentler now, almost kind. Home isn't a place, it tells me. It's a return. Sometimes I wake up holding the key, even though I locked it away. And sometimes, God help me, it's not black anymore. It's turning brass again, like it's waiting for me to choose. I think I finally understand what Mrs. Delaney meant. The key doesn't open doors, it trades them. One life for another, one soul to guard the threshold, another to wander free. So maybe that's the secret Castle Falls kept behind its fences. Maybe that's why no one ever really leaves. Tonight, the key sits on my nightstand again, still warm. I can hear the faintest hum from the walls, like the house, no, something beyond it, is breathing in time with me. And I'm tired of running. If you're hearing this, if you've listened this far, don't look for me tomorrow. Don't come to Castle Falls. Just check under your flower pot sometime. See if there's a second key. If there is, leave it, please. Because once you touch it, it knows you. And once it knows you, it always finds its way home. If you made it to the end of tonight's story, thank you for listening. If you felt that chill crawl down your spine, go ahead and tap that like button. It helps the channel grow and keeps these stories reaching new ears. Make sure you subscribe for daily tales just like this one, and share this video with someone who loves a good scare. Or maybe someone who keeps a few too many spare keys around. Thanks for spending your night with me. There's another story waiting for you right there on your screen. Until tomorrow, keep your doors locked and your keys closed. Behind the curtain. You ever walk past a window at night and swear you saw someone staring back? That's how this story begins. I live in a small Maine town called Derryfield. Yeah, one of those postcard places where the biggest excitement is the annual pie contest. Everyone knows everyone, or thinks they do. Our protagonist is Eddie Carver, 34, single, high school drama teacher. Loves the stage lights, hates his reflection. He's got that thing, what do you call it, imposter syndrome. The fear that someday someone's going to pull back the curtain and see what's really inside him. It starts simple. Eddie stays late one night at the school auditorium, grading scripts under that one buzzing stage light. And then he notices it. The velvet curtain at the back of the stage moves, just slightly. No breeze, no open window. And I swear to you, the moment he looks, it stops, like something back there knew he was watching. Now, most folks would chalk it up to nerves, shadows, maybe a mouse running behind the scenes. But Eddie, he's a theater guy. He knows the stage better than his own apartment. That curtain doesn't move on its own. He laughs it off, pretends not to notice, packs his bag. But the thing is, when he glances one last time before heading out, the curtain is just a hair more open than before. Like it's inviting him. And this is the part that sticks with me. He hears something. 3 knocks. Soft, hollow, coming from behind the curtain. Now, Eddie tells himself it's just a trick of the old building settling. That's what he tells himself. But that night, he dreams of the stage, empty chairs, spotlight on him, and a curtain that won't stay shut. That was Monday. By Friday, he starts hearing whispers, and that's when the real play begins. He laughs it off, of course, because that's what we do, right? We explain away the impossible. Rats, a draft, maybe even his imagination. But the next day, the janitor quits, says he saw someone standing where there shouldn't be anyone, just standing, right behind the curtain, watching. He won't come back, doesn't even bother to pick up his last paycheck, just leaves his keys on the desk and mutters, "Some things don't like being looked at." And that's when things shift. During rehearsals, Eddie starts hearing them, whispers. Not voices exactly, just that soft, sibilant scrape of breath against breath. The kind of sound that prickles the back of your neck and makes you turn around even when you know you're alone. One afternoon, he finds the lead actress, Sarah Mitchell, crying in the green room. Won't say why. Just stares at the mirror, eyes wide, mouth trembling. "I saw her," she says. "Who?" Sarah doesn't answer. Props vanish. Set pieces get moved. Someone or something is sabotaging the show. Then the principal pulls Eddie aside, just offhand, almost too casual. "You know," she says, "this school wasn't always a school. Before the war, it was a sanitarium. That stage, it used to be the intake ward." And then she laughs, half-hearted. "That curtain covers more than just backstage, Mr. Carver." Eddie chuckles too, but his smile never reaches his eyes. He starts dreaming in red velvet. Night after night, always the same dream. The spotlight, the empty chairs, the curtain, opening, always opening, and someone just out of view, waiting. He wakes with dust on his fingers, stage dust. His sheets smell like mothballs and mildew, like the backstage air. And then the kids start talking. "Mr. Carver," one of the freshmen whispers, not quite meeting his eyes, "who's that woman in the black dress backstage?" Eddie freezes. There is no woman. But the kid just stares, pale, eyes wide as coins. "She said your name." Every day it builds. More whispers, more sightings, more wrong. Eddie can't eat, can't sleep. And the curtain is not waiting anymore. It's calling. It's opening night of the spring play. The house is packed. Parents, students, faculty, flashbulbs and perfume, nervous laughter. The kind of buzz that only comes right before the lights dim. Eddie's in the wings, clipboard in hand, palms sweating through his blazer. He tells himself this is normal, just nerves, just another show. But deep in his gut, something off. He glances at the curtain. It's still, heavy, innocent. But he knows better now. He's seen it move when no one touched it. He's heard the whispers when the room was silent. Act 1 flies by in a blur. The kids are brilliant, almost too good, like they're possessed by something far greater than their teenage selves. The dialogue sings, the timing's perfect. But halfway through Act 2, everything breaks. The curtain twitches. Not a ripple, not a sway, a twitch, like a muscle spasming under skin. Then it shudders, once, twice. The audience chuckles, thinking it's part of the show. But Eddie, he's frozen, staring. There's someone back there, a silhouette behind the velvet folds, tall, thin, head tilted and smiling. Her face is impossibly pale, eyes like wet ash, hair dripping down her shoulders like it grew from the shadows themselves. Eddie's body moves before his mind can stop it. He stumbles onto the stage, into the lights, past the stunned actors, and grabs the curtain with both fists. And he pulls. The velvet parts like skin split open. Behind it, nothing. No props, no ropes, just void. And on the wall, daubed in thick, dripping black, the show must go on. The words drip. The smell hits him. Something sour, ancient, like forgotten basements and dried blood. Then, pop. The lights explode one by one with a crackle of glass and sparks. Screams ripple through the theater. Children cry. Parents stand, frozen, unsure if this is part of the act. And in that chaos, Eddie understands. The curtain was never a curtain. It was a veil, a threshold, a mouth. And he just opened it. Something moves in the dark behind the stage. Something big. He turns to run, but the curtain, it closes itself, fast, final, and Eddie Carver is gone. When the police arrive, Eddie's gone. Not a trace, no blood, no signs of struggle. His clipboard lies center stage, pages scattered like fallen leaves. One of them has a single word scrawled in his handwriting, shaky, rushed, run. They search the auditorium for hours, dogs, drones, the works. But the backstage is clean, too clean, like it was scrubbed by something that doesn't want to be found. The investigation fizzles, rumors swirl. Some say he had a breakdown, they fled town. Others whisper darker things, about the school's past, about the asylum, about something still trapped behind that velvet curtain. The spring play never finishes. The rest of the cast quits. The lead actress, Sarah Mitchell, won't speak anymore. Just hums show tunes to herself in the counselor's office, eyes always fixed on a spot just above the curtain rail. The school boards up the auditorium, bolts the doors, chains the stage. But Derryfield is small. People talk. A week later, a kid walking home past the school hears applause. Faint, hollow, rhythmic, like a slow clap from a very large, very empty room. The janitor, the new one, refuses to go in there. Says the curtain moved again. Says he heard a voice, low, almost kind, whisper places, everyone. And then silence. Eddie's apartment is cleaned out by his sister. She finds his journals, his lesson plans, his collection of dusty old scripts. But one thing stands out. In the back of his closet, tucked between costumes and prop swords, is a mirror. Antique, cracked, covered in a thin layer of stage dust. And taped to the top, a sticky note. 2 words, I'm still here. Some say Eddie was taken. Others believe he became part of the thing behind the curtain, part of the show. Every year since on the anniversary of opening night, someone breaks into the auditorium. They always leave the curtain slightly open, just a crack. And every time, the next morning, it's shut tight, like someone or something is keeping watch from the other side. The school's trying to tear the building down now, but the paperwork keeps disappearing. Contractors quit, equipment fails, and the curtain still hangs, still velvet red, still waiting. And here's the kicker. 1 month later, the Derryfield High Drama Club receives a package. No return address, no postmark, just a plain brown box left outside the school's front office like a forgotten prop. Inside, a VHS tape. No label, no note, just black plastic dusted with stage powder. Against their better judgment, the new faculty advisor digs up an old player from the AV closet, plugs it into the library TV. The screen flickers, static. Then, the spring play. The same play, same kids, same lines, same awkward choreography. Only this time, the camera's not from the audience. It's filming from inside the stage, somewhere deep behind the curtain. The angle is wrong, like it's watching through a crack in reality. And Eddie Carver is there, alive, smiling, center stage, not aged, not changed, dressed in the same blazer he wore opening night. He bows once, twice. The smile never reaches his eyes, and behind him, that velvet curtain sways. Just a little, almost like it's breathing. The faculty advisor ejects the tape, locks it in her drawer, and resigns the next day. Says she's taking a sabbatical, leaves town, never comes back. The curtain remains even now. Some nights, kids dare each other to peek through the auditorium windows. And sometimes, if the moonlight hits just right, they say you can see him, Eddie, standing there on stage, smiling toward the shadows, waiting for the next act. Because here's the thing, the show never really ended. You ever wonder what's behind the curtain? You should. Some doors were never meant to open, but someone always pulls the rope. Someone always takes the stage. Just make sure it's not you. Thanks for watching Behind the Curtain. If this story pulled you in, gave you chills, or made you think twice about dark stages and red velvet, tap that like button. It helps this channel grow and brings more creepy stories to light. Subscribe for daily deep dives into the strange, the haunted, and the forgotten. And hey, share this with someone who's ever peeked through a curtain and thought they saw something move. Thanks for listening and for watching. There's another video waiting for you right there on the screen, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.